Oh, hello, my friends. Skydicha here, back again with another episode of Virtue's Last Reward. Now, last time, Quark and Alice had some terrifying Radical 6 symptoms, and we were able to suppress them with not one, but 2 doses of Excelavir. Woohoo! However, we also found a bomb during our Excelavir adventure, so everyone's a little on edge, it seems like, and we get to go play the AB game. Woohoo! Let's see how that goes, shall we? Oh? Where's Timiyoji? Oh, he stayed back in the infirmary. What? Why? Well, when we were all headed out, I noticed he wasn't doing anything. So I asked him if he was coming with us. And this is what I got. I'm still worried about Quark and Alice. I think I'll stick around and make sure they're okay. I see. That means that Phi's only opponent will be Dio. 1-on-1, huh? It's cool. Nothing to worry about. I plan to choose Ally. You know why? Because I've only got 1 BP? Exactly. If you choose Ally and I betrayed you, your BP would drop to below 0. And well, we know what happens then. I want to win, but I'm not that desperate. You see what I'm saying, right? Timiyoji and Dio are a pair. Timiyoji only has 1 BP left. Since Dio said he's going to pick Ally, Phi can't really pick anything else. If she does, Timiyoji will, Yeah, that's pretty much it. Kay and I are going to go in at it 1-on-1 too, right? Since Quark's still sleeping. That is correct. How many BP do you guys have? I've got 6. As do I. This will be a tough one then. If one of them can get the other to Ally, and then betray that person, the betrayer will have 9 points. Look, Kay, I know you don't really have any reason to trust me, but... Oh, I know. You would like us to both vote Ally, yes? Yeah! I agree. If we were to both choose Betray, then we would gain no points. Which, while we would lose nothing either, that's hardly relevant. If both of us cooperate, then we would gain 2 points, which is much more beneficial. Right, yeah, okay, good. You're really gonna do it, right? Yes. Promise? Promise. 1 minute remains until Amidek's game polling closes. Oh shit, this is bad. We need to move now. Indeed. Shall we? D.O.K., Phi, and Clover all took off immediately, heading into different AB rooms. Cutting from the left, Dio went into room 3, Kay went into room 4, and Phi and Clover went into rooms 5 and 6, respectively. I left Luna and myself. Oh, what do you think about taking the one on the far left? Sounds good. With that settled, we headed into AB room number 1. Woohoo! Oh boy, game time. Boy, I love this track. Alright, hit that start. Let's see. I doubt Luna will do anything to make us want to pick Betray. This seems like a pretty easy ally. 30 seconds remain until Amidek's game polling closes. It's probably a little late to say this, but you know Alice is still in the infirmary. So... You're saying we should pick Ally, right? Since Alice is going to default to that anyway? Yes. I know. It's not really fair to betray someone who isn't voting. Luna's face broke into a warm, happy smile. Not to be sappy, but it was like a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. I grinned back at her before I even knew what I was doing. For a minute, Notary Game didn't seem so scary. 10 seconds remain until Amidek's game polling closes. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, yeah, we should just pick Ally. That would be really nice to betray her. But no, we should just pick Ally. Because we don't want to disappoint Luna. So if we're not disappointing Luna, we're going to pick Ally. Vote has been recorded. Please wait. Round 2 of the Amidek's game has been completed. Results will be displayed in the warehouse. Thank you for your participation. Amidek's gates now opening. Luna and I stepped out of the AB room. Alright, let's go have a look at the results. Okay. Results from round 2 of the Ambidex game will now be displayed. Please, direct your attention to the results screen. Oh boy. Let's see what happens, shall we? Kay and Clover. Betray, of course. Ooh, Dio and Phi betray. We allied. And Alice betrayed? How the fuck did she betray? She's in the infirmary. What the fuck? Well, Sigma's dead. Okay, sick. Awesome. Points have been assigned or subtracted accordingly. Please check your bracelet to see your updated bracelet points. And there's a dead Ziggy. What? It wasn't possible. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, and looked again. No, that's not possible. How could Alice's vote be betray? It was a question I would never know the answer to. There was a sharp, quick pain in my wrist, barely even noticeable. I couldn't feel anything flowing into my veins, but I knew it was there. First would be the anesthetic, Soparil. I blinked and my vision started to blur. When I tried to think, it felt like my mind had been stuffed with cotton. My legs began to wobble and they gave out entirely as I crumpled to the floor. Sigma? Sigma! Hey, hang on. Oh no! Sigma! Get up! Sigma! Sigma! No! Why? My eyelids felt like they were made of lead, but I forced them open. Everything was growing blurry, but I noticed that the door of the second AB room was open. No one had gone into that room. I'd watched them all. And yet there she stood. An apparition that couldn't possibly be real. This... The world was gradually going black, and my mouth refused to form words, and my head echoed with questions. How? Why? What was she doing there? Had she run at the last moment after Luna and I entered our room? But even if she had, why choose betray? Then the darkness closed over my mind as well, and my questions were gone forever. Well, damn, so that is a game over. Yes, somehow Alice is up and walking and still a bitch. So, we gotta try to prevent that, shall we? Do a quick solve. Thanks, game. Hit return. And yes, that is the game over. So that's what a game over looks like, by the way. Also, it tells us that we are on the Alice route. Oh, boy. So, back to the AB room. And we'll fix time. Thankfully, since we've done all this before, we can just skip on ahead. Sorry, Luna. Don't make me feel bad twice. And we betray this bitch! And then figure out what the hell happened. Vote has been recorded. Please wait. Alright, out we go. And now we're gonna get a stern talking to, I can imagine. Luna will not be happy with us, but it's to save our lives, so... Luna, it's okay. Luna, it's okay. It's not gonna be okay. Luna and I stepped out of the AB room. Why? What happened to... It's not fair to betray someone who isn't voting. I thought... There was nothing I could think to say. Even I didn't really understand why I'd pick betray instead. It almost just felt like... unconscious? Like some other part of my mind was making that decision. Perhaps I'd been possessed by some sort of evil spirit that moved my finger to betray instead of against my will. Right, well, we should go see the results. Really? We already know what they are. It's just simple math. The look in her eye was more painful than any punch I'd ever received. I turned away and almost ran towards the projector. Anything to get away from those eyes. Results from round 2 of the Ambidex game will now be displayed. Please direct your attention to the results screen. Alright. Oh, this will be a full roll betray then. Betray, betray. Betray, betray. 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 Nobody gains anything. I think this is our first full betray. Those bombs must have put some awful in people. Though, these people would all betray anyway. Anyway, sorry, not important. Let's continue.
Points have been assigned or subtracted accordingly. Please check your bracelet to see your updated bracelet points.
What? It wasn't possible. I blinked and rubbed my eyes and looked again. No. How could Alice's vote be betray? That's not possible! Alice? She was standing inside the second room from the left. The room that should have been empty. Why? My mind was still reeling. Where had she come from? As I was trying to form a sentence, she began to move towards us. From around me, I heard a chorus of muted gasps. It seemed like we were united in our surprise and confusion. Alice drew to a stop in front of me and glanced up at the display.
Thought you'd get a couple easy points, huh? Not so easy we have to look your victim in the eye, is it? Coward.
Me? A coward? You got some balls saying that to me after you picked betray. Why are you even here?
You gave me the antivirus, didn't you? Tenmyoji told me. Oh, thank you, by the way. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, honestly. But you should still be under your effects of the anesthetic. Yes, well, I am. A bit. I have a throbbing headache and I can barely stand. Oh, it's horrible. I'm more resistant to anesthetic than most people, though. Result of my training. I have a feeling Zero Senior knew that. They gave me way more than the standard dose of that gas when they kidnapped me. In any event, a few minutes ago I woke up in the infirmary, and Myoji explained what was going on, and I got here as fast as I could.
So you showed up right after we'd gone to the AB room?
Yes, right in the nick of time, too. About 10 seconds before the deadline, as I recall. You did that just so you could betray us? Right. What? Don't I get to do that? I mean, it turned out to be the right thing to do, didn't it? You two chose betray. If I'd have stayed back, I'd have lost 2 points. So you're saying it was self-defense? Well, yes.
You're full of shit! Self-defense my ass! You chose betray because you wanted out. You had 6 BP. If I'd have picked ally, you would have had 9. That's what you were trying to do, right?
So what if I was?
Are you serious? You would have killed me! Look, I only have 1 BP. You were this close to murdering me. Oh, just admit it. You were planning to kill me so you could escape.
Don't be stupid. I knew you'd choose betray. There was...
Oh, tell the truth!
That is the truth. Why am I the only one getting the 3rd degree here? Look at those results. 2 other people just tried to kill someone.
Fi and Dio.
Yes. If Dio had chosen ally, Fi would have killed Tenmyoji. And if she'd chosen ally, Dio would have killed her. I don't want to be rude, but it looks like Clover and Kay tried to trick one another as well. Not that it seems to have worked. If either one had chosen ally, the other one would have 9 EP right now.
I turned to look at the results again. Before, I'd only been really looking at my own. I didn't realize that there was only one word all across the roster. Betray. Whatever trust we managed to build had completely fallen apart. Everyone was suspicious of everyone else. Had it been the bombs? Or had it been something else? Whatever the reason, if it kept up, we'd never manage to escape. We'd be trapped in a cycle of 0-point rounds for the rest of our lives. Something had to be done. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Alright guys, pay attention. You probably already all figured this out, but we can't keep going like this. If we don't start to be a little more trusting, we're never gonna get out of here. We need to work together. Oh, I might as well have been talking to a brick wall.
My apologies, Sigma, but I need to think on something for a bit. I would appreciate being left alone.
Okay. I'll be leaving too. Things are getting a little too intense here for my delicate constitution. Sorry, Dio.
Well, in that case.
E2, Fi?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Without another word, she turned and left the warehouse. Dio and Kay quickly following suit.
See, there's your answer. In the end, everyone's just thinking about themselves. So I'd appreciate if you would not treat me like I'm the only villain here. Come on, Alice. Let's go. Hold on, I'm coming. Are you feeling okay? I was really worried, you know.
I watched them walk away. Clover practically jumping with delight to have Alice back. Before long, they reached the yellow door and disappeared behind it. Oh, I hate it because she's not wrong, technically, but she did try to kill us, and that's horseshit.
Everyone's gone.
You aren't going to leave too?
No,
Are you sure? I did choose betray.
I know. But I still believe in you, Sigma. I think your hand must have just slipped or something. Right?
My chest hurt, and when I blinked I felt something hot and wet prick the corners of my eyes. Luna, I bit my lip. Before I could think of anything to say, the metallic rumble of the doors closing echoed through the warehouse.
The Ambidex gates have closed. Round 3 of the Ambidex game will be the Star Round. Star keys are required to open the gates. There is no set limit on the usage of star keys. The Ambidex gates can be opened as many times as the players wish to open them.
As many times we want, huh?
Yes, as long as we have the star keys. That means we can keep playing the AB game over and over too. Sigma, could you show me your bracelet?
Why?
Do you remember what Zero Jr. said?
As soon as the gates close, your colors get all shuffled up automatically. The parent solo assignments hop around a bit too.
Oh yeah, I remember. Let's see here. I'm a cyan pear. What about you?
I'm a magenta pear.
I wonder what the others are.
They could be anything, I suppose. You won't know until we have a look.
We've got about... Damn, 80 minutes till the next set of chromatic doors open. So, what should we do now?
Everyone's gone off on their own.
Yeah, physically and emotionally. I really don't like how this is going. It won't matter how many times we repeat the AP game if no one trusts anybody else. We'll never be able to get out of here.
Maybe it would help if we all had a common goal? Something to unite our hearts and minds?
Yeah, but we kind of already have something like that. We all want to get out of here. That seems like a pretty clear goal to me, but everyone keeps choosing betray. Including me.
Well, what if we have an enemy?
An enemy?
Yes, a common foe. Like the person who set the bombs, for instance.
Coming back from the lab, I told her about the bomb while she gave Alice and Quark the Accelovir. Yeah, that might work. We can figure out which one of us planted those bombs, then everyone else can work together against them.
Right.
But how do we figure out who that is?
Well, do you have any clues?
Clues, huh? Oh, that's right! The memory card! Pulled it out of my pocket and held it out towards her.
What's this?
I told you, it's a memory card. It was under the bomb we found in the lab. I think whoever set the bomb must have dropped it.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what's on it, though. We couldn't find any kind of memory card reader.
Oh, I guess you can't really use it then. Oh, wait a second. You know what? I think I might have seen something.
Huh?
Yeah, I remember. The infirmary. I saw it when I was searching the infirmary with Tio and Quark. There was a memory card just like that one.
Then...
Yes, I think we can see what's on it. The computer there should be able to read it.
Oh, she's so happy. Luna's a saint. Luna and I exploded in the infirmary, nearly running into Alice, Clover, and Tenmyoji. Quark was there, as well. Of course, he was just as we left him, asleep on his bed. What are you doing here? I opened my mouth to retort, but then I thought better of it. If you really want people to start trusting each other, well then, real change starts at home. As quickly as I could, I explained the second bomb in the memory card, and we'd come to the infirmary in hopes that we could discover the contents of the latter. Okay.
Then stick it in already.
Yeah, go ahead. Right. Just as Luna had said, there was a small slot under the screen, exactly the right size to fit a memory card. Within moments, the screen was filled with what appeared to be random numbers. What is this?
6 rows, 22 letters each.
It looks like an odd rows use one set of letters, and the even rows use another set. In other words, the first 2 rows just repeat.
Yeah. Is it some kind of code or something?
It doesn't look random to me. I think there might be a pattern. I just don't know what it is.
Was there anything else on there? No, it doesn't look like it.
So all we get is this. Gibberish. Hey, Alice, you haven't said anything for a while. What's up?
Does any of this look familiar to you, Clover? What do you mean? Have you seen something like this before? Maybe during your training?
Training?
Ah! Oh, this is... So you do recognize it.
Alright, knock it off, you two. How about you share with the rest of the class?
Alice sighed and stretched her neck from side to side.
I believe this to be an encoded message from a terrorist organization. What? They call themselves the Myrmidons.
Myrmidons? You know, for some reason, I feel like I'd heard that name before.
What are the Myrmidons? Put simply, they're a bunch of thugs who are trying to destroy or dismantle most of human civilization.
So this thing we're looking at, you think it's theirs?
Well, they have a number of different codes, but I do think this is one of them. Then the bomb? It was set by one of the Myrmidons, wasn't it? Yes. Well, I can't say for sure, of course, but it does seem likely.
Damn, have I got a ton of questions for you. But let's start with this one. What the heck does this thing say?
I don't know.
What?
How am I supposed to decode it? I don't have the key. Without a key, it would take literally hundreds of years to decode.
What about you, Clover?
Well, if Alice doesn't know, then I sure don't.
I see.
Not much we can do then. We can come back to the code stuff later then. I got another question. Alice, Clover, what the hell are you? What do you know about this code?
That's...
You told me your job was to eliminate enemies of the state, or something like that. Just what the hell kind of job is that? I think it's about time you told us what you do.
Sorry, but I can't.
Why not?
Because you might be one of them. You might be the person who set the bomb.
Oh, that's idiotic. Of course I'm not.
Really? Then where's your proof? For all I know, you're my enemy, and I can't tell you anything.
I'm not your enemy. I'm your ally. I'm your friend. I just want us all to get out of here. Just please, tell us. Please? We need to find out who did this so we can all escape. We have too little information. We need your help. Fine. If you won't tell us about yourself, then at least tell us about the Myrmidons. What else do you know about them?
I'm sorry.
Before I could blink, she leapt up and run out of the room. Hey, wait, Alice! I took off after her.
The garden! How long are you going to keep following me?
Until you tell me what you know.
Then why don't you just ask Clover?
Clover?
You already know she works with me.
Well, yeah.
Then why don't you...
Wanted to hear it from you.
Why?
That's a good question. Remember the crew quarters? Or this garden? We got paired up in 2 separate rounds. That means I've spent more time with you than anyone else here. Maybe that's it? I guess I'm just curious about you.
What are you talking about?
She spun around to hide it, but I caught a blush of red on her cheeks. We walked down the path to where it ended next to the pond.
Does Sigma get to sit on his bench? Maybe. Maybe.
I stayed silent. Alice sat down on the bench, and we gazed at the smooth surface of the pond for several long minutes before she began to speak.
We don't get the bench, but we do get this song, and I love this song. Let's continue. You don't hate me?
What? Why?
I tried to kill you.
Oh, you mean in the AB game?
Yes. I was so scared. Who wouldn't be? Kidnapped and locked up, forced to play some sort of bizarre game, and then we found that bomb. I know I probably sounded calm at the time, but as soon as we found that thing, all I wanted to do was run away from it as fast as I could. Things just went downhill from there.
What do you mean?
I remember hearing that Quark had collapsed, and running to the infirmary with everyone else. When I got there, though, I realized I couldn't understand what anyone was saying. And everything looked Oh, I don't know how to describe it. It was like watching a video on fast forward, only it was real. Then I started to feel like, oh, it's hard to explain. I guess you could say I didn't feel like myself, and it only got worse.
Well, that was probably the Radical Six.
Yes, I think so. I don't remember much after that. But when I woke up in the infirmary, suddenly all that fear was back. So all I could think about was getting out of this place as fast as I could. Never even crossed my mind that it could kill you. Oh, God help me. Even if it had, I don't think I would have cared. See? I'm horrible. You hate me, don't you? Just do it.
What? Do what?
Oh, just kill me. Get it over with.
What the hell, Alice? I'm not going to kill you. I don't even hate you.
You're lying. I could have killed you. I would have killed you.
Come on, calm down. No one's killing anyone. A single tear rolled down Alice's cheek, then another, and another, leaving shining lines across her face. When I reached out, I saw her tense just slightly. Slowly, I brushed my thumb across her cheek and off, taking her tears with it.
Why are you doing this? You know, you kind of remind me of my father.
That's who you were after, right? The people who killed your dad?
Yes.
They have anything to do with the Myrmidons?
Will you promise not to tell Clover that I cried?
Ha! Come on!
If you keep your mouth shut, I'll tell you what you want to know. About myself and about the Myrmidons. Deal?
Oh, sure. My lips are sealed.
Really?
What crying? I don't remember any crying.
Good. All right, then.
Alice took a deep breath and began.
My father is Egyptian, but my mother is French. They met while my mother was in Egypt on vacation and married shortly thereafter. When I was 3, we all moved to the US. My father was a scientist, and his field was cloning. He was recruited by an American lab, which is why we moved. Both of my parents had used English around me from the time I was born, so I didn't have any problems adapting to life in the United States. By my 9th birthday, we'd been there for 6 years. That was when it happened. In the middle of the day, my mother showed up at school. Her eyes were red and puffy, but she didn't say anything to me on the drive home. When we arrived, there were several policemen there to meet us. My father had always been a very punctual man, and when dinner time came and went with no sign of him, even I began to realize something terrible had happened. It wasn't until several years later that I finally learned the truth. My father's lab had been attacked by terrorists, and he had been kidnapped. For the rest of my childhood, my mother raised me by herself. I didn't realize it then, but it must have been incredibly difficult for her, as a single mother alone in a country where any relatives were a transatlantic flight away. She did her best not to let me see, but every so often, when she thought she was alone, the mask would fall away, and in every line on her face I could see exhaustion and loneliness. As much as I missed my father, it was in those moments that made me wish more than anything he'd never been taken. Fortunately, I was an excellent student, and did especially well in math. I earned a full-ride scholarship straight out of high school, and spent the next several years studying. After graduation, I took a job with the Department of Defense, hoping that they might have the resources to help me look for my father. I was immediately assigned to the Special Office of Internal Security. Their purpose is to investigate and sometimes deal with terrorist organizations and other serious threats to the state. I could tell my mother wasn't happy about my decision, but she chose to remain silent about it. Eventually, I learned that the terrorist organization that had taken my father was none other than the Myrmidons, although at the time that name didn't mean anything to me. They were suspected of human cloning. Specifically, it was thought that they had been using cloning techniques to copy their most useful members and expand their ranks. The Myrmidons apparently believed that they could use cloning to create a new race of humans. Now at last, I knew the reason for my father's abduction. The commander of the Myrmidons is a man named Left. We know his name and his gender, but not his appearance or his age. The Myrmidons are closely associated with a cult known as Free the Soul. We believe that Free the Soul provides their funding. But trying to pin any kind of misdeeds on the cult's leader, a man named Brother, is like trying to nail Jello to a wall. Brother is supposed to be fairly advanced in years, and rumors say he's so old he can't even get out of bed. Unfortunately, His mind seems to be as sharp as ever. At that point, I had hit a wall. I knew the Myrmidons had been behind my father's kidnapping, but that was all I could learn about them. Then, one day, I got a tip that some of them were hiding in a building in the Nevada desert. I headed out immediately. On the way there, though, my car had some sort of engine trouble and stalled out. I was trying to decide what to do when an SUV appeared out of nowhere. I'll give you one guess who was behind the steering wheel. Clover. That was the first time we met. There were 4 other people in the car with her, and when I asked them what they were doing, all I got back was just about the last answer I'd expected. They told me they'd been locked up inside the very building I'd been on my way to investigate, and that they were currently in pursuit of the people who had kidnapped them in the first place. My priorities shifted very quickly. After a short discussion, I convinced them to allow me to come along. My hope was to find the people they were chasing, who I was certain were Myrmidons. In the end, however, we were unable to track them down. In fact, I still don't know where they might have gone. Eventually, I took Clover and her companions to the SOIS headquarters. We decided that involving the police would only complicate things. After some questioning, it was determined that the people who had instigated this particular event were not connected to the Myrmidons. We did, however, discover that the mysterious disappearance and subsequent reappearance of several children 9 years prior was connected to Free the Soul. There was also a 6th person in the SUV, although they weren't riding in it per se. A middle-aged man, who I'll just call H for now, had been bound and placed in the trunk. According to the other 4, he had been behind the disappearance of the children 9 years earlier. We also learned that his pharmaceutical company, a major player on the world stage, was effectively controlled by Free the Soul. More specifically, I suppose H was a member of Free the Soul, and was very committed to their cause. So, why had he kidnapped all those children? Apparently, it had been part of an experiment designed to test the ability of certain people to access what is called the morphogenetic field. I don't imagine you've ever heard of it before, so I'll try and give you a quick rundown. Simply put, these people can access a sort of field that allows their consciousness to resonate with the consciousness of a certain other person. To be honest, it might be simpler just to call it telepathy. The SOIS had heard of this particular ability before, and had actually used it in a number of investigations, so I wasn't surprised to learn of its existence. I was shocked, however, to learn that these experiments were carried out by a member of Free the Soul. If that was the case, then Brother must have known about it. The thought of him discovering a way to control and harness the power was terrifying. It wasn't too long after the incident in Nevada that another tip about the Myrmidons crossed my desk. This time, it claimed that the Myrmidons intended to launch a large-scale biological terrorist attack. My bosses decided that we needed more agents to deal with a threat of that magnitude, and Clover was recruited. Because she'd been a test subject in H's experiment, we knew she had the ability to access the morphogenetic field, and we wanted to put that ability to use. After several months of training, she was sent on her first mission. She'd be tasked with the infiltration and investigation of a Myrmidon cloning lab. I was assigned to be her commanding officer. I had hoped our investigation might also give me a lead on my father's whereabouts. At last, I had a chance to find out what had happened to him. I wouldn't let that chance pass me by. Perhaps that was what kept me from noticing the truth. The whole operation was a trap. The lab was fake, and Clover was captured almost immediately. I got there as fast as I could. When I arrived, the building was only an empty shell. All of the conspirators who had pretended to be researchers and the like had already fled. I searched frantically for Clover until at last, in a basement room, I found her. She'd been tied up to a chair, but on the floor next to her was another body. It was my father. He looked as if he'd just been dumped there, and when I got to him, his body was already cold. He was covered in dark, ugly bruises. It wasn't until later that I learned he had died from ruptured organs and internal bleeding. They had beaten him to death. As soon as Clover was captured, a Myrmidon in a mask had come to visit her. He'd said that unless she wanted to end up like my father, she would leave them alone and tell her masters at the SOIS to do likewise. In retrospect, they must have known who I was and who my father was. That was why they had killed him. Perhaps they thought they were sending a message to me, or that once he was gone, I'd lose my reason for chasing them. They were very, very wrong. I took Clover with me and left. I tried to console myself with the fact that I had at least been able to save her. Sometime later, I received a call from a coroner. He had told me there was something I needed to see. There in the morgue was my father, cold and pale on the steel table. I could barely stand to look at him, but the coroner insisted. On his arm were 2 rows of numbers, comprised of 8s and 9s. It took me a moment to recognize my father's handwriting. He had carved them into his own skin. On his chest was another message, but they were letters this time, not numbers. Not many, just enough to make a short sentence. I love you, Alice. I broke down crying right there in the morgue. They were the first real tears I had shed since the operation had started, and there was no stopping them. There would be no forgiveness. Not for the monsters who put my father through this. They destroyed my family. I'd make them pay, even if I had to die to do it. That night I made a promise to myself. I would avenge my father. It didn't take long to figure out that the numbers he'd written were latitude and longitude. They pointed to a chemical factory that had been disguised as an abandoned building. Further investigation revealed that it was the mother lode we were looking for, the headquarters of the Myrmidons. I think my father must have known how things would turn out. Knowing he was going to die, he had written the directions to our enemy fortress on his body. He'd sacrificed too much for me to waste this opportunity with recklessness. This time, our operation would succeed. This time, I wouldn't let my excitement put Clover or any of my other agents in danger. So we took our time, we gathered information, we did our research, and we planned. Finally, we were ready. December 25th, 2028 was going to be the day we finally set foot inside the Myrmidon stronghold. But then, on the 22nd, only 3 days before the operation was scheduled to begin, a man in a gas mask appeared.
So you inhaled that gas, passed out, and woke up in the AB room?
Yes. Well, there it is. Everything that happened with the Myrmidons and me. I left a few of the details out, of course, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Thanks.
She gave me a sort of sad smile and stood up. We should go back.
Not yet. Your story explained a lot, but there's still one big question.
Which is?
Who here is a Myrmidon? One of us planted the bombs. And based off the code we found, it's pretty clear that person is a Myrmidon, right?
Yes.
And I agree that we need to figure out who they are.
What do you propose we do?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Do you have any clues?
Clues? Well, if I could decrypt that code, it would tell us something, but...
How can we do that?
I told you. We need a key. Without that, it's pointless.
What's a key?
A key is a key. It allows you to sort of unlock a code. Myrmidons usually use this long, huge string of numbers as keys.
Wait, a long string of numbers? Could that be... 7815361098838094241990551? What the hell? I was almost as surprised as she was. The numbers had just kind of appeared in my mind, and I was saying them before I knew what I was doing. Alice looked at me incredulously and stared back.
Where did you... Wait. Can you say that again?
7815361098838094241990551.
That's 198449351 to the third power.
What?
That number you just told me. Prime factor decomposition on that number gets you 198449351 to the third power.
You talking about reducing an integer to a series of prime numbers that you multiply together to get it, right? Like, if you have 30, you'd get 2 times 3 times 5, right?
Exactly. You probably learned that in junior high, right?
So you're saying that 198449351 is a prime? And if you multiply that by itself 3 times, you get 7815361098838094241990551?
Yes.
Don't tell me you just did all that in your head.
I did do all that in my head. Simple mental arithmetic.
What? No, no way! That's impossible!
I told you. I'm better at math than most people.
That is not better at math.
Well, look at you. You just recited a huge string of numbers. That seems pretty astonishing, too. Where'd you find that number, anyway?
I didn't know what to say. What'd I tell her? That it just came to me?
Can't tell me, huh? Well, fine. I'm pretty sure that's the key to the code, though. I know the Myrmidons use prime factors for their keys, and there aren't a lot of 25-digit numbers that turn out to be a third power of a prime number. I think there's a very good chance that number you memorized was specifically created by someone.
Could you explain that with small words?
Well, look at the prime factors of your number. 198449351 to the third power. I think it's our hint for cracking the code. You still don't get it. Try to remember the code we saw in the infirmary. What did it say on the monitor?
I think the first row was... CQUJHNMTEONERAXDFMIOVP.
And the second row?
BYOLWXYPX I think. Then they just repeat.
Wow, you've got a pretty impressive memory. We could really use someone like you back at the,
Well, keep going. How do we decode that?
Well, you use 198449351 to point you to the right letters.
And how do you do that?
Well, the first number is 1, so you take the first letter. Then the next number is 9, so go 9 letters over from the first one. And then 8 from that one. Just keep going until you get something. Makes sense?
I ran over what she said in my head. The prime numbers Alice had given me was 198449351. So, what would we get if we picked out those letters like she'd explained? First letter would be C for the top left. Then you'd move 9 to the right, which would give you an O. And 8 more to the right. Eventually we get a word. And that word was... Alright, it is time to decode the password using that giant prime number. We get 6 chances to succeed. If we fail, it's game over. The code sheet won't be displayed when you input your answer, so it'd be wise to solve it now. Okay, let's look. So, C, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, O. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is M. 1, 2, 3, 4 is P, so comp. 1, 2, 3, 4 is L. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is E. 1, 2, 3 is T. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is E. And D. Completed. Completed is the answer. Alright then, so it's completed. Check that. Yes! Clear! I did it! Completed. That's it. That's the answer.
Completed? Are you sure?
Yeah. I did exactly what you told me, and the word I got is completed. Well, actually, it's completed, completed, completed. The code and the letters repeat every 2 lines. It just repeats.
Well, I can't remember the code like you can, but if you're certain, then I'll believe you.
I'm definitely certain.
Alright then. I wonder what completed's supposed to mean, though.
What? Aside from the obvious, you mean? I'm guessing here it means mission complete? So that's what the transmitter was for.
Huh? What are you talking about? What transmitter?
I barely even heard her. Suddenly my mind was full of memories that hadn't been there a moment ago. It was like a wave had washed away the sand, revealing a bed of precious gems underneath.
O Holy Father, Holy Brother, Holy Master, my sacred mission is at last complete. With these 2 hands, mankind is saved. I am your will, made flesh. In your name I give thanks.
Damn it! Why hadn't I realized it before? I can remember a series of numbers, but not this. At least I remembered it now. Dio was a member of the Myrmidons. And not just any member, he was their leader. That meant he had to be the one who planted the bombs.
Hey, are you listening to me?
Yeah.
Then answer my question. What the hell was that? What's this about a transmitter?
I didn't trust myself to try and explain it to her. More than likely, she'd just think I was insane. Even I could barely make sense of the sudden influx of new information.
Wait, don't tell me you're one of the Myrmidons.
If it was, do you really think I'd reveal myself like this?
Point.
Out of nowhere, Clover appeared.
Oh, hey, there you are. I've been looking all over for you.
Really?
We're all down at Floor B warehouse. Well, all of us but Luna and Quark. Why?
Yeah, we still got 45 minutes till the white door's open.
I know that.
Okay. Hey, wait a minute. Look, Kay and Quark didn't know about the white doors.
Temioji told us about them. He said he'd show us where they were, and so we all followed him down to the Floor B warehouse. I'm assuming you left Quark with Luna? Yeah. Anyways, when we all showed up, Vi and Kay were already there.
So?
Well, all of a sudden, Vi, Temioji, and Dia all started yelling at each other.
Wait, what?
Why? Did something happen?
According to Clover, the last AB game had been the cause of their fight. Even though Temioji only had 1 BP, Vi had chosen Betray. They started to fight, and since Dio had pressed Betray on behalf of his team, eventually he got dragged into it too.
That seems odd. Vi only had 1 BP too. The choice seems like a perfectly valid defensive move. Ugh! Just come with me! Kay's trying to calm them down, but he's only one of him.
Okay. Come on, Alice, let's go.
Coming. Alright, and I think actually with that, we're going to leave it here! Boo! But hey, we learned a hell of a lot today. We learned all about Alice, and kind of what she does, and how she's really, really fucking good at math. Or whatever the hell it is doing prime number defactoring in your head is. And Sigma can remember long streaks of numbers too. Also, Dio's a Myrmidon, but we already knew that, but like, it's nice to point it out to us. Anyway, I guess we'll have to see what happens next time. Scott J signing off, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye!